caller didn't come in.
Well, yeah, and I'm not going to repeat the name because it may be an embarrassment, but the person actually called in. I don't think we got to him, and then they called us at the office the next day. But it's just a point that needs to be made again about uninsured motorist insurance. And I'll try to make this as succinct and simple as I can. But this caller's wife was in a wreck, and she was injured rather badly. He had the driver that hit her, that is the at-fault driver, had $25,000 in liability insurance. All right, the caller and his wife had 2 cars in the household, and they had $50,000 available in uninsured motorist insurance, which would have stacked on top of the liability insurance.
Been added on top.
Okay.
Except for one minor problem. He settled with the at-fault company and gave them a general release. And if it's not a limited liability release, then by operation of law, it also releases the uninsured motorist carrier. So in that situation, they actually lost $50,000 in coverage. Now, it's okay. I mean, with LegalZoom and all that stuff, people write their own wills, do their own divorces, and as a general rule, it just doesn't work out well for the people trying to do it or trying to represent themselves. It's just too easy to get an appointment with a lawyer and kick it around a little bit. In that case, let me put it this way: if the injuries had been very, very serious, if it had been, say, a $300,000 or $400,000 or $500,000 case, and there's $75,000 available, which they could have gotten, most reputable lawyers would have said, look, here's what you need to do. Call the liability insurance company, but make sure that it's a limited liability release. I'll be glad to look over it for you. We may charge you, some modest fee to look over it, but it would have saved that couple $50,000.
Okay, so is that something, Carl and Wendell, that we know, or is that in fine print, or we just didn't ask the right questions?
It's a legal
principle.
Yeah, and that's why people like us go to law school, and why you should consult a lawyer. And as we went over early on the show, it's not going to cost anything to go in and talk to a lawyer. Most lawyers will look at it, and as Carl said, if it's clear that the insurance company should pay the money and the value of the case is way over the insurance available, a lawyer's not going to take a fee on that.
Okay. Well, some will. I mean, you got to look at it for what it is and be careful about who you talk to. But if you have any question about it, go see 2 or 3 different lawyers. I mean, there's no reason why you can't see more than one. Just call up and make an appointment and interview.
Just like
find out where you stand legally.
Right.
That's the main.
Just like getting a second opinion.
And ask what it costs in advance. Ask them what the fee would be, what the fee is based on. Have they ever handled a case like that before? What is customary in the legal profession? And if they were in your situation, what lawyer would they go to? And then you call that other lawyer and see if their advice and counsel is consistent with the first lawyer you call.
And that's a relatively recent principle, that is the limited liability release. 8-10 years ago there was no such thing, and you could not settle with the at-fault driver, take a limited liability release, and then go after your own insurance.
Well, I hate to add this, but the caller did, when I finally talked to him, said that he had called a lawyer, and the lawyer had told him that the release looked fine. So you've got to be careful. I mean, you've just got to have somebody look at this stuff, and not just a curbstone kind of a deal.
Well, if it's only 8 to 10 years, Wendell, was there a situation or a case that set that kind of a precedence where we needed that?
Well, it wasn't really a case that set precedent. It was a situation where it didn't make sense if the liability carrier was there and saying, here's the money, that you should wait until you resolve the case against your own insurance company, carrier.
Or if there were joint tort fees.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, it was like, were there 2 people responsible or 3 people responsible, and one wanted to settle their part of it.
Okay.
It was just a recognition that you can go ahead and let's get some of the money now instead of waiting 2 or 3 years out.
Okay. All right. Mr. Carl Reynolds, Wendell Horne, and Joe Voigt. Here's how you can reach them. They're right here in Macon, and the phone number you can reach them at is 478-405-0300 or toll free 1-800-537-3238, or visit their website at reynoldsinjurylaw.com.
The legal information supplied in this broadcast is general information only and is not intended to be legal advice for any given situation. Do not rely on broadcast information without consulting an attorney. Contingent attorney's fees refers only to those fees charged by the attorneys for legal services. Such fees are not permitted in all types of cases. Court costs and other additional expenses of legal action usually must be paid by the client.